Area info, and it's tonight with Somi show. It's the 11 o'clock hour. That means things are about to get even more heated, things are about to get even more interesting. And I would just urge you, wherever it is that you're listening or watching from, stay with me because it's going to be a good time. All right. So we're having the conversation on the segment that we call Bonded, which has to do with things around family, everything that revolves around family, keeping one, starting one, managing one even after it's done, and just everything. But there's this very interesting conversation that came up during the week, and we thought to address it. Two things actually, but let's start with the first one, which has to do with somebody who is in a relationship, and they're having issues because this man in question has a woman who has a male best friend. And, you know, it's such that she goes on in conversations with this person without recourse to the man in her life at all. And it would have been great if that was all there was to it. But according to him, she has other male friends as well, in addition to her best friend. And things just get odd every time because, you know, she's just picking their calls at random. And the man is sitting there and he's like, what's going on? She's like, oh, we're just friends. There's nothing to it. And this is somebody he's serious about getting involved with. And so it's looking like it will brew a problem. So he asked that we should get into it. And we have a certified therapist, author, counselor, and relationship coach in the house with us, Mrs. Funmi Olubakin, who will be getting into the conversation with us. Remember that we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at Nigeria Info Abuja. So getting on the conversation, sending your messages, and then you can also call on the phone lines as soon as we get to that point. So I'm just going to go straight ahead and introduce my guest, Mrs. Olubakin. Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm so excited that you're joining us once again this evening. We started discussing with you last week Thursday, and it was so much fun because of the perspective that you brought to the issues. So we're excited about doing this again. So I'm just going to let you go straight ahead and get into the conversation from your experience as a counselor and coach and just working with people. What is the big deal about besties of the opposite sex with people who are in a relationship?
Okay. So
She
this is
laughs.
a very, very interesting topic.
Okay.
Okay. And this is one that I've had to deal with many times. And many people who have found themselves face to face with the consequences, right, of this kind of relationship or friendship that we are talking about have come to me for, and I've had to, help try to clean up the mess that it creates. Because in the long run, for most people, this is what happens. So it is a big deal. It is a big deal, especially for someone who is in a committed relationship or for someone who is married.
Okay.
It becomes even more serious in those cases. So in the case of someone who is single, right?
Yeah.
To a large extent, even though there may be consequences, even though those friendships may lead to where you didn't even intend from the beginning, but at least, it's just the both of you. No other person is involved. And so it is easier in those situations. Yes.
Okay, so the person that sent in this message is actually still in a relationship, looking to settle down with this person, with this lady in his life who has these male besties. And she doesn't seem to see the big deal in it. So how should he approach this matter now?
Okay. So again, I would like to dig deeper into the relationship. So this lady, right, is in a committed relationship.
Yes.
If I'm getting you right.
Yes.
The relationship is headed for marriage.
Apparently.
So now she has a best friend, a bestie of the opposite sex.
Yeah.
this is the scenario. Okay, I would start by asking some questions. For instance, I would love to know how long has she been friends with this bestie? How long have they known each other? Okay, because sometimes, it is just sometimes, we may just be able to give a little bit of space or gap to people who have let's say known each other all their lives. So if she goes ahead and says that, okay, I met this guy when we were children. I was 8 and he was 9, or maybe we were both 8 years old in primary 4. I switched school from my former school to this new school, and that was where we met. And we have maintained this friendship since that time till now that I'm 26, or now that I'm 28. We may begin to think that, okay, just maybe, right? They have shared a lifetime together. Their families are so intertwined by now. They were probably neighbors. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
They were probably neighbors when they were growing up. And so we may be thinking that, they are more like siblings now. Maybe in this kind of situation, we can try to say, you are making me laugh.
No.
In this kind of situation, we can try to say, okay, because you have known each other all your lives. But at the same time, now your husband-to-be is in the picture. Your husband-to-be is not comfortable with the relationship. And so really, you would have to take stock. You would have to take a step back, even if only for the sake of your fiancé, who is not comfortable with this arrangement. That is one part of it. And then there are the besties that you say, I met him on a work trip last year. I met him, in a shopping mall 18 months ago, and we have been communicating every day. And now I tell him everything, and now he's my best friend. Those ones are even more dangerous, in my opinion.
More dangerous than the ones that have been there all through this person's life.
Yes, because, there's a level to which you would have known someone that, you are now more like siblings. I believe that happens. You've known someone, you saw them through puberty, everything, I mean, they may not even be fine to you until somebody says that this guy is fine. You may not even notice because you grew together. That happens, actually. But it still does not mean that boundaries should not be put in place, even with those kind of relationships.
Okay.
Because things can change.
Okay, I have some. Okay, the call started to come in, but then it cut off. Please, the phone lines are open. This is the point where we'd like you to call in and share your experiences and sort of weigh in on the matter. And let's see if we can have some banter with our therapist, Mrs. Olubakin, who's in the house with us today. So let me just put the phone numbers out there so that you can start to call and contribute. It's 07 00 951 0000 or 080 959 74869, or you can send a message on the WhatsApp or call on 080 999 30137. We have a caller, Mr. Olubakin. Let's hear from this person. Hello.
Yeah. Hello, Somi. Good evening.
Good evening. Well.
Yeah, it's me, Shadow, calling you back.
Okay, Shadow, do you want to talk about this matter first and foremost before we get to your own?
Okay, yeah, is it about this bestie, right?
Yes, of the opposite sex.
Yeah, I was watching people live on the YouTube.
Okay, go ahead, please. Let's hear your contribution.
Well, to my own contribution, this bestie male female issue, this is a serious matter because, like my own matter myself, maybe joined the same thing, but my own is not that when they were a kid, you understand? So to my own, if the girl really love, have the man married the girl or the lady or what?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
I said, was this person in this question, was he married to the lady or never married yet?
No, he's dating her, but this is a
Okay,
problem, and he wants
but
to know how
okay,
to
but
proceed.
her attention is not getting attention the way it's supposed to get, right? That's
He
what
did say something like that, yes.
Well, from our side, like the way our guests already said, people can be their relationship start when they were kids or when they were adults. But to me, it's no good to me.
Okay.
If you try for like second time or two times, after what is the issue that you can't be able to have my attention? And if you know that I didn't love him, why do you accept him for the first place? So to me, the guy needs to go back and still ask her. But if you don't love him, let her just tell him the truth so that he can look for another way. Let her not be frustrating the guy. That's for my advice for the guy. You.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Shader. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't know if I can let my complain now. I don't know.
Just give me a few minutes. We'll come back to that, okay? Please. All right, then. Thank you. All right, Mrs. Olubakin, I hope you heard the caller. Hello?
I didn't quite get the question. I was hoping that you would, help me understand him.
Okay, he was really summarizing. He says, following from what you said, it's best, especially if the person is considering getting married to this person, that the partner who has the bestie should consider the way they are feeling, right? And not let that spoil the relationship. He also asked, and which we tried to confirm, where it was becoming an issue of the man in question of attention from the woman who has the baby. And that was one of the fears, that was one of the concerns that the person expressed. So, and then he wrapped up by saying that whether or not the person, maybe you've known the bestie from childhood or more recent years, that he's still not comfortable with the idea of the woman in his life having a bestie. So that was basically what the caller said.
Oh, all right. So like I also mentioned, the problem begins when the fiancé, says he's not comfortable with the relationship.
Okay.
There may be stuff that he saw. So far, he says he's not comfortable with it, then boundaries should be put in place. I already said that.
Okay.
But it is not every friendship that we will throw away. Okay? It's not every friendship that we are going to throw away because we are getting married. We need people. And it's not even easy. I always say that old friends are the best because, this adulthood and navigating friendships now may be a bit challenging for most people.
Okay.
Or most people have said it is a bit challenging to them. And they rely so much more on friends that they have had for so long. So if it is possible to, create a situation where your friends become his friends become your friends, and all of you are just doing this friendship thing together comfortably, that would be the perfect scenario.
Okay.
But if one person is not comfortable with a close friend of their intended, and that close friend is somebody of the opposite sex, really, you take a step back, you establish boundaries, and it's possible your fiancé or husband to be, or wife to be, may later on get to know this person and then may even now end up liking them very much.
All right.
But first, you take a step back.
Okay, we have another caller. Let's hear from this person. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, welcome.
This is Tommy calling back again.
Welcome back, Tommy.
Okay. This topic, it's a very interesting topic, though. But to my own opinion, I think every relationship, the foundation built around it should be trust. In as much as you trust the person you're dating, you won't have any reason to bother yourself about any gender he or she is keeping as. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. The main issue there is that if truly or sincerely you love this person, all you need to do is just to trust her. By trusting her, you will be able to tolerate some minor or silly things she does, all you need to focus on is putting a ring on her finger. That's getting her married. Once you married her, the attention or the respect, whatsoever respect you make will be given to you.
Okay.
You don't have to. You don't have to stop her from getting to come with her friends just because you're dating. No, if you love someone, you will learn to tolerate the person, accept her the way she is. It doesn't mean you won't have to correct her when she's wrong, but stopping her from getting to connect with her friends just based on the fact that you are jealous, I think it's not normal. And secondly, too, when there is money in a relationship, okay?
Go ahead.
The trust level will be bigger than what you're thinking. When there is money, you won't want to reason the gender of bestie your partner is keeping.
Did you say when there is money?
Yeah, definitely. Seriously. I'm telling you from experience, when there is money, everything in life is money.
All right, thank you, Tommy.
When you are able to provide for your partner materially everything she needs, then definitely she won't have any reason of cheating on you, and the trust will grow bigger and bigger. All you need to do is focus on keeping tight to the relationship, building it around trust, and being able to provide and tolerate everything that comes out of the relationship. That's just
thank you, Tommy. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you. All right, ma'am. I hope you caught that.
You will have to help me, please.
Oh, dear Lord, again. Okay. Tommy started by saying that relationships boil down to trust. And once you trust the person, you should be able to tolerate the people that come with them. And just to quickly sum up everything he said, he rounded up by saying it was money and you're able to provide materially for the woman, then she would trust you. She would not have reason to look elsewhere. Let's have you quickly respond to that and then we'll take the next caller, please.
Once you have money, you would be able to provide the needs of the woman in your life and then she will trust you.
He said that, yes.
Okay, it doesn't really work that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't work that way. Except she's there only for the money. Okay. If she's there for companionship, for love, she wants to build a life with you in the real sense of the word. You have to give her reasons to trust you.
Okay.
If you behave yourself in a funny manner around other ladies, she would have a problem with it. Except she's there only for the money. I just really needed to clear that.
Okay,
women are very protective around the men they love.
Which is why I wanted the situation. Which is why I wanted the situation, right? So the person who brought this forward is, and he's talking about a woman in his life, a bestie. I wanted to flip it, and let's assume for a minute that it was a woman that came out to complain that the man in her life is a female bestie, right? And I hear what you're saying about perhaps if they grew up together and all of that. But let me just throw this question to you very quickly. When you ruminate on it, I take the next one. Growing up together on it, doesn't the idea of someone else relationship being a bestie or significant other, let me put it that way, doesn't it say not the one that they come to with all their problems and that portend a problem? That's the question. Just think on it for a minute. Let me take this next caller, ma'am, then you can answer. Please, thank you. Hello? Ooh, and I lost him. Okay. Let's take this caller. Hello?
Hello?
Hello. Good evening.
Yeah. Good evening. Yeah, this is Benjamin.
Benjamin, welcome. Let's hear from you.
First of all, I want to thank you for bringing up this show again, because for a very long time I've not been listening to shows, and I'm kind of a person that normally sleeps late, so I just rely on the radio to keep me busy till I sleep off.
You're welcome, Benjamin. It's my pleasure.
Yes. Yeah. So on this issue, I have a personal experience on.
Do share.
This yeah, so I had a friend then. We were like, we grew up together, like a family, my family and hers were close. So then she had a boyfriend. So that period, the guy wasn't really comfortable with our friendship.
Okay.
And the guy too was my friend too, and I was trying to assure him that there's nothing going on between me and your friend, but it seems the more I try to tell him, the more he feels very uncomfortable, and I think he had trust issues then with the girl. So personally for me, I just had to withdraw myself in order to not to cause chaos in their own relationship.
Okay.
So for me, my advice for the guy is just to trust the lady. If you trust, and another thing most people fail to understand in relationship is that they don't make their partners their friend.
I'm sorry, say that again. They don't do what?
They don't make their partners their friend. So assuming the guy in question is a friend to that girl, you'll be able to have more of her attention, and and you notice that the attention is given to others will reduce and to shift to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Benjamin. But very gracious of you. So what you're saying is that you were the bestie in your friend's life, and you had to step away because the guy who was also your friend was not comfortable. So you stepped away from that.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. That was really, really good of you. All right. Okay, let's go back to our therapist in the house. I just need to be sure that she heard that. Hi, ma'am. Are you still there? I see you.
Yes, I am.
Okay, did you hear the caller, please?
Please help me. I only heard your part.
Oh, dear Lord
It's so
God.
low. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. We'll definitely work on this for next time. So Benjamin called in and he shared his personal experience. And in his case, he was best friends with a woman who was in a relationship with someone. And so he was the bestie in this situation. He's not in the relationship. And he says the guy who was dating his friend is also, or was also his friend, but because the guy just wasn't comfortable, and so he had to step away as a bestie to this lady.
That's, I can imagine how painful it is on the part of the person who loses a friend. And so that is why I was being lenient from the beginning. I don't know if you noticed that in my tone.
I did.
When I said, how many years have they been doing this friendship thing? They might have been at it since childhood. Because it is a heartbreak for the person who has to now let go of his best friend because of a newcomer, possibly a guy that she met 6 months ago, when he has known her all his life. But these decisions have to be made.
Okay.
It's the way life is.
Okay, so
And
I asked you a question.
Many women,
yes. Hello, Mama, are you there?
You said what, please?
I said, if you remember, before we took that call, I had also asked you a question about just digging deeper into this best friend relationships. And I was saying, doesn't that mean that if you have a best friend outside of your partner, that you are not sharing your life with your partner as you should?
Okay. Well, that is another angle to look at. But I also believe that there is something about a partner, say the one you are entangled with in a romantic relationship, that is actually a class beyond best friends. So they are actually your very, very best friend above your best friend. If you are doing this thing in such a way that you are giving all of yourself to your partner, okay? You are not telling this other person stuff before you tell your partner. You are just basically maintaining a friendship that has been there for long. You may be able to do it. Some people have even done it well, and they have been able to even bring this new partner into the mix, and they all have a jolly good relationship. Okay?
Okay.
It's just that it doesn't always work. And many of the time, where is even the energy to be spending a lot of time with your partner, telling them everything about your day, and still not have enough energy reserved to update some bestie somewhere about how that same day has been. So it doesn't always work out. But gradually, you begin to set in limits, boundaries. They would even come in if you are sincere about the bestie thing that you are doing.
Okay.
If it is actually, mutually sincere for the both of you. I mean, my own best friends, even though they are women, I don't really know. Life has gotten in the way of life. They have their husbands, they have their jobs, they have their children. By the time we finally get together, probably once in 2 weeks or once in a month, do you get?
Yeah.
So to say that you want to maintain a bestie of the opposite sex while in a relationship, and the communication you want the communication to continue every day, it isn't realistic.
Okay.
Really.
Okay.
It is not realistic.
Okay. All right. Benjamin also said something which sort of like ties into what you just said. Now, he said that if you were to pay closer attention to the scenario that we brought up, that you realize that the guy in question who's complaining that she has a female bestie is not friends with her. So I just wanted to say that because it's sort of tied into what you're saying. So you're saying if you're truly...
I didn't get that, please.
Okay, so I was
Benjamin
saying,
said what?
He said that if you were to take a closer look at the person who sent in this scenario and is complaining about his partner, that if you were to take a closer look, you realize that the guy himself is not making his partner his friend. So they don't have a friendship going on, which is why she was, she would try to find that outside of her relationship. Even though I will still come back to the fact that I say we should flip it. Let us assume that the person that sent this in is a woman. Are we still going to be towing the same line? But let's hear from this caller first. Hello? Hello, are you there?
Yes,
Okay, welcome. Good evening.
Good evening, Somi.
Good to have you here.
It's great. Having you on the show. We appreciate you. Welcome you.
Thank you. Could you move away from your device, please, so that I can hear you clearly? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, this is much better.
Much better now.
Yes.
This is Waka Waka from Lamata.
This is who?
Waka Waka from Lamata.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. My dear, I don't know. If it's a mere friendship we are doing and you have a bestie, well, I may tolerate it for a while. And coming to talk about this, women want to occupy their male friends. And I don't think any woman would tolerate this kind of scenario with somebody you intend perhaps spending the rest of your life with. It's a no-go area to somebody like me. Of course, I had an experience. I had a wife who had a bestie. She's just not having the bestie of the opposite sex. She also has besties of the same sex. And I was not too comfortable with the relationship. I tolerated for a while.
Okay.
But at the point, the best, I asked her, look, I'm not comfortable with this relationship you're having with this bestie. Please, can you let them go for the sake of the marriage? Because marriage is worth sacrificing anything for. I'm not too comfortable. Do you know what she told me? She said, instead of me to let those besties go, I will let you go.
Wow.
Oh, I said, so be it. And that is how the marriage ended.
Wow.
I never got married to one of those besties. Look, those besties are your replacement to do nothing about it. Now, she's hoping and praying that I will come back. I said, no, we don't do that at my place. So, if you are into a serious relationship, that's why every man sacrifice to maintain that relationship.
Okay.
If it takes you cutting off from long-time acquaintances to maintain that relationship, please do. It's what doing for the sake of family and marriage. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm just going to go ahead and recap very quickly. I'm just going to go ahead and recap. Okay, so we had someone who shared in his personal experience, Mrs. Olubakin, about somebody who was in a relationship. He was married to this person. Did I just say relationship? And he noticed that she had besties of both sexes, male and female, and he was uncomfortable with that. And he expressed his concerns to her, and he asked her to please let them go. He started by saying he would be comfortable with it for a while, but then after a while, I think he started to notice some things. So he asked her that she should let them go. And she told him categorically, instead of her to let her relationships with these people go, she would let him, her husband, go. And the marriage actually ended on that basis. And she ended up marrying one of the besties. And in his words, he said the besties are replacements in the events that the relationship that they are in fails. Your thoughts on that?
That's a terrible one, if I may say so. Obviously, their marriage had a lot of other issues. That bestie situation will not be the only issue that they had. And that is why the marriage eventually ended. I don't believe that the only reason, the only disagreement or quarrel they ever had in that marriage is only about besties. Obviously, emotional needs were not being met in the marriage. Obviously, they were both dissatisfied. The woman obviously was very dissatisfied with the relationship, and a lot of things must have been happening. And so this one is just one of.
Especially for someone who is in a committed relationship,
to get into a
or for
relationship
someone
with
who is
one of the
married.
so-called besties,
Yeah.
is the reason why married people especially must be careful of friendship with the opposite sex.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Because there are people.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. So there are some set of people that I often advise married people to be careful of, right? When you meet someone of the opposite sex who is very much like your wife or your husband, it is worth being careful around those kind of people. You meet someone, probably a younger person, that reminds you so much of your wife or of your husband. You have to be careful, with navigating whatever relationship it is you are having with such people, whether work relationship, anything, you have to be careful. Or you meet someone who has a skill or a character trait that you wish your wife had, or you wish your husband had. So you wish your husband would listen more, like he interrupts you when you are talking. You want somebody that listens. You wish he could listen some more. Or you wish your wife were just a little bit calmer. You wish your wife were just a little bit more respectful, something like that.
Yeah.
And you now meet somebody who not only exhibits those behaviors, but you now actually add the thought that if only my wife were disrespectful, that is someone you should give a lot of gap. That is someone you should give a whole lot of gap. Because when there's proximity, that is when, things may develop.
Right.
And that is something that we have seen with this best friends or close friends issues. Many times people are actually leaning on these best friends for stuff, for needs that are not being met in their relationship. That is why it's difficult to let go. That is why they hold on. Yes.
Okay. Let's take a few messages. I see OGB sends this in. He says, Somi, these people are not married in the first place. Before anyone can start making strong demands, there must be a strong commitment like marriage. Both of them are in a free market relationship. So if the man is worried, he should move fast and pay something on her head. This came in from OGB. I see you, people sent in messages on Facebook. Sam G. Gang says he's watching live from Kuchigoro Airport Road. Thank you for doing that. We also have Augustine Oga Agbo, who is watching live from Dusi Alhaji. And we have Daniel Teila from Benue. And then we also have Langs, Michael, watching from Abuja. Thank you so much for all of you who have stayed with us. Suleiman Jibril says, good evening, Somi, watching live from National Assembly quarters. Please keep up the good work. Yes, I see you. Okay, we also have people from Port Harcourt, Damak, Bamshak, I see you. Michael Asuto, he says, good evening, watching live from Maraba Sharp Corner. Thank you to everyone who has sent in messages. We see you, we appreciate you. Wherever it is that you're watching from, we hear you. Thank you so much. Let's take this caller. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome. Good evening.
Thank you. This is Usman calling you from Suleja.
Good to have you here, Usman. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Seriously, I am not in support of anything like a bestie in a relationship. The truth is, if you want to have a best friend, it should be same sex, not opposite. Because getting opposite sex, just like what the therapist in the house has said, she said something that I wanted to say about getting a bestie that have like the character of your spouse or your boyfriend when he is younger. Will grow some feelings that you did not even intend to have for that person. And, you know, once it's the opposite sex, there are some feelings and some things that you cannot even know how to control it. So, for me, being in a relationship with a lady or being in a relationship with a guy, you should know that that person he should be your friend, your companion.
Okay.
And if you cannot tell me things that is bothering you, things that you've passed through, things that you are thinking of achieving, what's the point of being in a relationship with you? I don't see the reason why we should be in a relationship and you say you are looking for an opposite sex that you will be telling all your problems because I had a friend that was once a victim of such bestie stuff.
Okay.
What really happened is the bestie even knew, even when they had sex, the bestie knew virtually everything. And it is just a coincidence that happened from that my friend to even know about that the girlfriend is telling the other guy, the bestie, everything that happened in their relationship, and like even what he does when they are having sex, all these kind of things. These are confidential issue between the both of them.
Yeah.
She ended up telling him everything.
Okay.
So, you see, I am not even okay. Just like the one you said about having a bestie that you grow up together. That maybe you grow up together up to being like your brother or your sister. Yes, there's that one, and what I believe with that one is truly he thinks he is just like a sister, or she thinks he's just like a brother to her. I think there should be limits to everything.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Usman. Thank you. I appreciate your contribution. Okay. We are going to be wrapping this up very soon, and I've heard diverse views about this. Mrs. Olubakin, just in case you didn't catch that one as well, Usman says he's totally not in support of it. not in support of it at all. As a matter of fact, he gave a scenario, somebody who he was close to, where this happened, and it's the kind of information that this woman was sharing with her male bestie, every detail. According to him, when they're having sex, when they're intimate with each other, he would even tell him everything that the guy used to do. And it's just, I cringe at the thought of that one. And then he went ahead to say, even in the cases where, you know, they grew up together, there should be boundaries, which you also said, right? I want to give another scenario. I know somebody, right? Because I've been asking, I'm saying, let's flip this. Let's flip this and take it from a different perspective. Let's now take it from a woman who has a guy. No, I'm sorry. That's a guy who is in a relationship with a woman, right? And the guy has a female bestie. I want to take that and then bring back the perspective of, let us even say they grew up together, right? Because from your approach to this conversation, just like you said in the earlier stages, you were trying to be a bit lenient to say, okay, I mean, if they grew up together, you know, we should allow that. But I want us to look at it from that perspective. Would you still say that even if they grew up together, they've known each other all their lives, that there should be some form of room to allow that?
Okay, so if we flip the coin and we are considering men, you know, who are in relationships and have female besties, of course, you know, women are territorial. Okay, so really, it will not even work. A man to a man can even say, hey, my guy, you may even say, oh, that your friend is actually cool. I have a childhood friend whom my husband does business with, you know, and they don't have a relationship as such.
Okay.
It's just that he just came in at the time and needed some things done. And I said, oh, this is my friend. Do you remember him? You know, he will be able to help. And that was it. A lady, naturally, it is the way we are. That your friend, the one you said you met when you were 15 and you are still, what do you people even talk about? Let me even see your chat. Okay? And then there's this other thing that women do, you know, because we have the gift of details. We are very detailed. We see things that most men don't notice. We read meaning into things. You know, it is possible that the two ladies may even have a clash on their first meeting. Somebody may think that the other person outdressed her just to come and try to intimidate her. The other person may say that, oh, is this the person that you are because of this person that you don't want to talk to us? You know, all those other things that we ladies do because of the way we were made. We are more sensitive, you know, we are more given to details and all of that. It is going to take a lot of wisdom, on the part of a man to say, I have a girlfriend and I have a very close female friend. I'm not saying it is impossible, but it will take a whole lot. And of course, always boundaries. Always boundaries. And in all of this, you know, there's something I said at the beginning that I want to bring back. If your partner is uncomfortable with any friendship, it may even be a female friend.
Yeah.
It may be a same-sex friend. But once your partner is uncomfortable about a particular relationship, let us zoom in back to opposite sex friendships. Then it is enough reason for you to step back. It is enough reason for you to even check your own heart and reassess that friendship too. That why am I holding on to this friendship actually? Is there something I'm hoping will come out of it? You know that there are situations where two people of the opposite sex are friends.
Yeah.
And one person is actually hoping that something develops. And the other person, the friendship is oblivious to the fact that this person is probably catching feelings for them, has zero ideas. And then it takes the partner because, you know, you cannot know that gender more than that gender. You as a man, you cannot understand women more than women. So it will not take your partner who is of the same sex with your close friend to tell you that, don't you see that this person may like you? Can't you see the way this person acts around you?
Yes.
You know? So that is why if your partner shares some discomfort with you and says, I'm uncomfortable, if they say anything like that, the first thing to do is to step back. Whether you believe them or not, whether you are shocked or not, step back. Put some boundaries in place, especially if you are married. Many people have lost friendships because of relationships that don't even last. That is what I try to avoid. Some friendships have lasted 10 years, 15 years. Then a boyfriend comes into the picture and said, okay, you chase everyone away. You are now in a relationship. 1 year later, the relationship may end. How do you crawl back?
No, but on that point, Mrs. Olubakin, I just want to get a little bit more clarity. You just said if your partner is uncomfortable, then take a step back, reassess, set boundaries. Sometimes even just taking a step back and reassessing might make the friend hurt and sort of like fade away. It's not because they cut off, right? And so even when the relationship doesn't go ahead to last. Now, shouldn't I also be reassessing that kind of friendship that I just like took a step back and you are angry? Aren't those the kind of people that will now say it's like you wanted more from this friendship than... how do we draw the line in such cases? Because if my partner is uncomfortable and I step down on the friendship a little bit and you get angry and you go, even when the relationship does not end up lasting, I should also reassess my friendship with you. Shouldn't that be the case?
So I guess this is where the strength of that friendship now is also now being tested.
Exactly.
Yes. So if the friendship is as serious as we are even thinking it is, it shouldn't lead to this kind of thing. It should be a matter of even laughter. It's like this, your relationship has taken your time. Or I'm not seeing you at all in my radar. You understand? It should actually be something they can talk about and laugh about. You will not say that, my boyfriend is not comfortable with you. Please give us chance, right? You will just say it in a diplomatic way. Oh, the relationship is taking my time plus pressure at work with this one and that one. Talk later. Do you understand? I believe that it should be something that you can discuss, and a reasonable friend too will not wait for you to give them for you to write an application letter and say, dear bestie, give me a little gap. I'm now in a relationship. Seriously, a reasonable friend too will know that, you now have a love, you have a new muse or something like that. You have to nurture this new relationship that is in your life, and hopefully you are able to make something out of it. If the friendships are sensible, I think that we all can be happy in it.
Okay.
The boundaries will have to come in. This bestie too should actually find their own partner, go out there and go and search for a significant other so that, we all can, everyone can be happy and everyone can be occupied.
But I would say that from my own little experience, having gone into relationships over time, I think it's easiest for the guy, the male friends in my life to sort of, on their own, nobody needs to tell them. As a matter of fact, they will tell him, this one that you're dating, this person, it's like, I'll give you some space. You as the female, you'll not be saying, no, it's not like that. He's not that kind of person.
Right.
So for guys, it's easier. Right. Yes. For females though, and I think this is where we just start to maybe put some words of advice out there. If as a female, and we're talking about the besties now, if as a female, you're not willing to give room to your male bestie to explore that relationship that he's in without taking offense, then maybe you should assess your friendship with the person and check whether you really didn't want more out of that. And I'll say that vice versa as well for guys. But for the people who are in relationships, I think Olubakin has said over and over again, boundaries. Boundaries are important. Let's take final thoughts from you, Mrs. Olubakin, before we wrap up. Any other thing else that you want to say to this matter? Hello?
Are we taking a call?
No. I was taking final thoughts from you. Is there anything else you want to say?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so always consider your partner
Mm-hmm.
sincerely. Always consider your spouse, especially for those who are married. I want you to know that there's no relationship as important as the one you have with your partner. There's no relationship. There's no relationship that is worth it. There's no friendship that is worth allowing, disagreements and quarrels between you and your husband or you and your wife over. So always be mindful of how they feel. This is the person you vowed to spend the rest of your life with, to love, to cherish, and all of that. It is important. And I also want us to realize that our emotions are so fickle. In a moment of weakness, we are human beings. You can be so disappointed. You can be so shocked at what you can do in a moment of weakness or a moment of carelessness.
Mm-hmm.
I know we are not discussing affairs, but I have had people who found themselves in affairs sitting across from me. And this is it for most of them. They didn't see it coming. They didn't see it coming. This was just a very close colleague at work who made their work easy, who made office more interesting or something. It was innocent at the beginning. They never ever saw it coming. And then along the line, there is an entanglement. Okay? And so that is why we must be extremely careful. You don't even have to wait for your partner to be uncomfortable. You have to assess every relationship of the opposite sex as a married person. That is how to be responsibly married.
Okay. All right then. Thank you so much, Mrs. Funmi. I'll just keep you on for maybe another 2 minutes because I see some people try to call in. Maybe they want to speak with you. I'm hoping their calls come in now. And if they don't, it has been amazing having you as always. Thank you for the insight that you provided. And let's see if you can help someone else who is calling now. Hello. Good evening. Welcome.
Yeah, I was trying to call you to lay my complaint. But
oh, go ahead, real quick. Let's see if she can attend to you. Go ahead.
Well, it's a long story. I just leave it for
long story. Okay.
By come on, now it takes like 5 or 4 minutes.
Do something for me, would you, Mr. Is it Mr. Shendo? Mr. Shedo, right? Do something for me. Chat me up on WhatsApp. Let me send you my email. Send this to me so that we can take time and create a session for you. Will that work? I'm just asking.
My WhatsApp is not good. I banned my WhatsApp. It's on Facebook.
Okay, fine. So chat me. How do I do this now? Do you have access to email?
Yes, I'm on email.
Okay, fine. Send me a mail. Can I call out my email address for you?
Yeah.
So that we don't just keep you waiting till the next time, okay? Can I go ahead?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
so
right.
it's SOMI
Yes.
at NigeriaInfo.fm.
Okay.
That's it. Somi at NigeriaInfo.fm.
Okay.
All right. So if you do that, we can take our time and look at it. And as soon as we come on next week, we can attend to you properly. Forgive me, I didn't mean to keep you and then still not attend to you.
I was watching it on YouTube.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for doing that. All right, Mr. Shendo, I promise you we will get to you next week. All right? Hello? Hello?
Hello, Somi.
Hello. Good evening.
Waka Waka calling back from Lambata.
Welcome, Waka Waka. You're my last caller. Let's hear you.
Sorry, if the therapist is still there.
Yes, she is.
To ask, is there anything too difficult for one to do to maintain his or her marriage? For the sake of the marriage and the sake of the children, if your partner is not comfortable with your besties, is it too much a thing to do, to let go those besties, whether male or female, to maintain your marriage, that your marriage will continue to last?
Okay.
No. You don't talk about when the spouse is uncomfortable. What other comfort do you need when they already complaining and is not satisfied with it?
Oh dear. We lost Waka Waka, and unfortunately we have to call it a wrap. I still have Mrs. Funmi on the line. So we will see if I can, because she didn't hear you. And she had some questions for you actually when you called at first. So we'll see if we can get to that right after this break. Please stay with me. I still have my therapist in the house for a few more minutes, and then we will have that conversation, all right? It's still Tonight with Somi. Do stay with me. We'll be right back.
This is Nigeria Info.